Good evening. Wow, that was very Catholic school trained response. You know, I'm tempted to open up the homily by having some type of joke about the snow and whatnot, but I think at this point we're all just glad to be together. So I'll just turn to explain why this is one of my favorite Gospels. Probably because I myself identify as a fisherman. And this is about fishermen today in particular. But what's the aspects of this gospel I think that we can take and be helpful for us? Number one, Jesus breaks the mold of being the rabbi. Normally, you're supposed to go up to a rabbi and say, "Hey, rabbi, can I come follow you and learn from you?" And what does he say? He looks at Peter and the boys and he says, "Come and follow me." The thing is, though, I'm not telling you this of just what he did. He wants to do this with you now. He says to you at this Mass, "Come, follow after me." But our responses will probably be like Peter's in some sense, as reflected in the other Gospels. Or say, "Lord, leave me. I'm a sinful man or woman. Lord, I feel unworthy of this, that, and the next thing." Well, it says in the beginning of the reading that Jesus went, what's it say? The land of Zebulun and Naphtali. It's pretty specific and random. Why would they put that in there? That was the first areas of the 12 tribes in the Old Testament that was lost. Jesus wants to restore what was first lost within each of us. And he doesn't want to just say, "Okay, yeah, I'm only going to find the people that are really worthy of me." He wants to find what we feel unworthy and restore it within us. And then, though, he likes to send us on mission so we can also do this for other people. No matter what your vocation is, I tell you now, you're called to be a fisher of men. You'll find more joy in your life when you start to do this. But what does that mean? Well, this is my classic Fishers of Men homily. Why did Jesus choose fishermen? Did you ever think about that? He could have picked some other, more well-equipped people, but the first four he chose were fishermen. I think number one, because fishermen are patient. You know, for those of you that like to go fishing like myself, you can sit out there all day. And if you're with someone that really doesn't like fishing, oh man, they're like, "Okay, can we go now? Or can we go to another spot? Or what are we doing?" And I would say to you that when it comes to being fishers of men, Peter and the boys had to be patient. And you have to be patient with people that just are restless and don't really want to come to church. People in your family, people in your friend group that are just kind of all over the place. How can I just force them, Father, to be patient? Be patient, but also determined. Determined that you will catch the fish. Not because of your own virtue and goodness, but because the one who sent you, he's got some pretty good bait. Second thing is a fisherman is always well equipped. You know, if you ask a fisherman, "Hey, can I go fishing with you? But I don't have a rod." He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I've got plenty of rods and reels and everything we need for a whole army to go fishing." Most good fishermen have many things. Most fishers of men, right? Imagine asking someone to come to Mass with you. Hey, I find that asking people to go to Mass, it's kind of like saying, "Go to the gym. Go do that. Be a better person." Most people won't do that. But if you say, "Hey, come with me to Mass," it's like saying, "Come with me to the gym. I'll take you." I find that works about 90% more effectively than just, "Hey, you should go." If you say, "Why don't you come with me? I go on Saturdays or Sundays at whatever time," they might come. Then the last thing is fishermen, they have a vision to see the fish in ways that other people don't. You know this to be true if you have hung out with your dad or grandpa or somebody that's a fisherman. And they're like, "Hey, cast there, I see a fish." And you're like, "What? Where? I don't see anything." "He's right there." That over time they get to see things. Now, how is this fishers of men? I'll tell you over and over again, I try to train some of you guys to see this. But for instance, at Nittany Catholic Night, or even after this Mass, after any Mass, there's always some people that are kind of walking around like this. Where do I go? What do I do? I'm confused and lost. And I see them right away. I'm like, And I'll awkwardly go up to one of you and say, "Hey, you see person over there in the corner? Can you go?" And they're like, "Oh, okay." This is the vision to see the hearts that we're trying to fish for. The ones that are wanting to be caught, but don't know how. The thing is, though, fishing is, for most of us, like myself, a nice hobby, a fun thing to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people think that that's the same thing in their Christian life. Like, oh yeah, it's nice to be like kind of Christian whenever I have my homework done, or whenever, like, if that fits into my job or my life. It doesn't make any sense if being a fisher of men is just your hobby. And being a fisher of men is not just for the priests. You can go places that people that I'm not able to go and bring the gospel. And you can speak truths into hearts and clubs and things and environments that you must go, that if you don't, no one else will, to be fishers of men and women. But it's dangerous. You know, actual fishermen, commercial fishermen, that's what Peter and the apostles were, commercial fishermen, going out to make money off this, I think is still considered one of the most dangerous occupations in the world. There's some like 29% higher fatality rate among commercial fishermen than other occupations. And I'm not going to lie to you, being a fisher of men, putting yourself out there as into your faith and trying to draw people in will also be dangerous. I like to say this, that eventually, if you do this kind of all in, people will make fun of you. And when that day comes, rejoice. Rejoice. Because Jesus said that's what will happen. If they made fun of me, they will also make fun of you. But no one will make fun of you on your wedding day, on your ordination day, on a day where you have your children or your grandchildren. I've seen it time and again. No one makes fun of you on the days where they say, wow. That's what it means to follow him. Commercial fishermen also don't necessarily use a fishing rod and reel. They throw nets. Why? Because we don't want to be like, oh yeah, let me just like reach out to that guy because that girl, she's going to be real popular for us. It's like, no, Lord, who are you calling me to? Let me draw in as many as I can. And then some of them will choose to walk away. But it doesn't affect me from throwing out the net. I also find that as a fisherman, I often have to help people because when they do fish like with a reel, if there's a certain person you're working with, our hearts are kind of like fishing reels. Where some of you are so anxious and tight, it's like the drag is like the whole way up. That in any relationship with other people or with God, you're just ready to like kind of be afraid, snap, be angry, run away. The fisherman is able to accompany someone else like that to loosen up the drag, to dial it in. At the same time, there's people on the other end where the drag is way too loose, which means that many things, including romantic relationships or like worldly goals and dreams, which are all good, start pull too much of your heart spool out. Next thing you know, you're like, how did much of my heart go way downstream like that? Where this person or this thing became much more important than him. The fisherman helps to drag that in and return your heart. Last thing is, though, fishermen, especially commercial fishermen, have to work together as a crew. You're not a commercial fisherman by yourself. And the same way that you will not understand fully what the Christian life, what the Catholic life is, until you really lean into your relationship, yes, with God, but also with the people sitting around you, sitting around at Mass and in the church. No matter where you go, if you put yourself in relationship with those of the church, even if your congregation isn't what you want it to be, well, there's people there maybe the Lord is providing to fish in that particular time of your life. So what are some practicals? To be like fishermen and be good fishers of men, I would say be like a fisherman and wake up early. Every good fisherman I know wakes up early. And so to be a good fisher of men, wake up earlier maybe than you are to get some extra time to pray, to spend with the Lord, to take care of what you need to, so you have more time to give of yourself to those that you can draw in. Number 2, to work together. One practical thing my buddies and I did in college is we would make what's called a J list. We were so nerdy and Christian Jesus people. It's called a Jesus list. We would literally sit down at lunch, be like, pull out the list. We'd have a list of names of people that we were trying to really like draw to the Lord. Not to like get part of our club. We had no official anything. We just wanted them to get to know Jesus and like join our small group. That was it. That fishermen are aware of their environment very well. They know what tactics to take in this situation versus this one. And some of you have access, like I said, to places that others don't. Go into those places and draw those hearts. And the last thing is that a good fisherman doesn't hold over like, hey, look at all these fish I caught. Look how great I am. Right? Nobody likes to see that. A real fisherman teaches others how to fish. A real fisherman teaches others how to fish. Every fisherman that you've ever met, ask him, how'd you learn how to fish? It's always the name of another person. My dad, my grandpa, my cousin, my friend. It's always a name. The same thing is true with those of you who are really like discovering the Lord more deeply. How is that happening? There's a name connected to it. So let your own name be connected to those who are desiring to be caught by the Lord. And so I commission you now. Please be fishers of men. Not just with your whatever you think you're supposed to do, but simply with your love. To say, I don't care if I get embarrassed. I don't care if I'm thought of whatever. There's hearts that sit before me right now that I know are yearning to have this purpose. So I call you into that. And I throw away all the bad fish in your heart that thinks, well, this isn't for me. I call you all the more. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.